my channel, or hello if you're new here. My name is Kaylee. This week we're doing a bit of a belated 2024 reset. It is much needed for me. Thank you so much for all the love on my last video, by the way. I really appreciate it. We didn't have the best start to the year over here, but we're really getting things back on track, back in order. Definitely had some good news come in here and there. And we've just been trying to prioritize our New Year's goals, getting back to work, and our own physical and mental health. I'm still here in the Catskills. I haven't been back to the city in a month now, which is kind of crazy. I'm starting to miss it a little bit. It's been snowing so much here. I'm like looking out at a snowstorm right now. It's been really beautiful. We went snowboarding this morning. This is my second season learning to snowboard. It's one of the most humbling things you can learn to do as an adult. Also maybe the most humiliating thing. I'm sure skiing's a similar way. I do feel like the snowboarding community is full of like teenage boy bullies. So when I go still, not so much now, but definitely last season, which was my first season, I felt like I was just preparing myself to get bullied the whole time I was there. We do live 5 minutes from a mountain here. It is an East Coast mountain. I've never experienced anything else. I'm told there's much better out there, but it's so nice that we're really close. This morning I finally made some good progress. I have learned to properly carve when I'm snowboarding. This is maybe a lot if you've never done it. If you ski, maybe you can relate in some ways. I was at the point where I could make it fully down the mountain without falling or running into anybody, but I was moving more like this in those situations when I would chicken out instead of like this, which is what you're supposed to do. If you snowboard, I was mainly using my heel side, not my toe side. The last couple times I've gone, especially this morning, I've just had something click for me. There has been fresh snow on the ground, which I'm sure helps the situation, but I finally feel like I'm getting it and it's becoming a lot more fun. I definitely had some wipeouts, but I'm all good over here. It's actually such good exercise using muscles that I usually don't use, and it's just a nice way to start the morning. New puppy Monday, if you haven't caught up with the last few videos. We adopted her actually from a follower who reached out to me, and she's been such a nice addition to our life. Also a very chaotic addition, but we love her. You probably saw some clips of her experiencing snow for the first time, which was really cute. And she's getting so big. She's already like doubled in size, I think, since we got her. I'm sure you will hear and see her throughout this video. She's our little monster. And our little angels back there. They really always wiggle their way into your lap. Now I'm gonna have some lunch. One of my New Year's goals is to eat more at home. I really want to focus more on eating high quality and nourishing foods. And that brings me to the sponsor of this video. I've partnered with them in the past. I've also paid for their service myself before because I love it so much, and that partner is Cook Unity. As I said, I've talked about Cook Unity on this channel before. If you haven't already, I'd encourage you to check them out because they are the most convenient way to get a wide variety of restaurant quality food from award-winning chefs delivered to your door. You start by setting any dietary or taste preferences. You can get as few as 4 or as much as 16 meals a week. You get to choose from hundreds of meals, and menus are posted 2 weeks in advance. Cook Unity will tailor them to match your diet and preferences. Meals arrive fresh, not frozen, via courier or shipment in compostable, recyclable, or reusable packaging with expiration dates, chef's heating instructions, and nutrition information. One of my favorite chefs to order meals from is Santiago Lopez. He's passionate about Mexican cooking and has opened and worked in many restaurants throughout the country, notably Dos Caminos in New York. I love his chicken tinga empanadas with polenta. It's definitely my favorite meal I've tried from him. Some other meals I've loved this week include Lina Alcuzi's Moroccan chickpea tagine with turmeric rice prepared in New York, Chef Tony Perez's butternut squash ravioli with thyme and parmesan, and Emily Peck's sesame ginger tofu poke bowl with pickled cabbage and yum yum sauce, also made in New York. If you'd like to try some meals yourself, you can go to cookunity.com/Kaylee or click the link in my description and use the code Kaylee50 to get 50% off your first order of Cook Unity meals. So thank you so much to Cook Unity for partnering with me on this video. I really can't recommend them enough for you guys if you live within their service area. We have a few things on the agenda today. One of the more fun things, which I'm really trying to prioritize, doing these more fun, dreamy things in my everyday life, is creating a vision board. One of my New Year's goals is to make the mental switch just to be less on autopilot and focus more on dreaming and ideating and the day-to-day and actually scheduling out time for it. I think as a business owner, as a creative person, as any person in general, honestly, it's really important to carve out the time for those things, especially if a lot of your responsibilities day to day are recurring, maybe they feel mundane. It's so easy for our brain to get on autopilot, and it's not the best way to live. I feel like I used to be much better about romanticizing the day to day, setting goals for myself, and that kind of got away from me, and I really want to get back into that state. So I'm Gonna make a vision board today. I also need to finally take our Christmas tree down. Excuse you. Monday, that's the whole roll of paper towels. The fact that she pulled that off of there is pretty impressive. Sorry, the lighting's went a little bit bad. I have a lamp in front of me and the overhead light on, which I usually don't do. Most of our natural light comes from skylights, which is really lovely, but they're all covered with snow right now. You would think because it's white, the rest of the light would reflect out, but it's just so gray and snowstormy outside. So this is what we're dealing with, and hopefully it's kind of cozy. I'm having a kombucha and doing my vision boarding. This is one of my new favorite kombucha brands. It's the Laughing Gut. The orange flavor is really good, but also the green tea one if you ever see it at your local store. It's an upstate brand. They might have it in the city too. I wasn't expecting any of you to notice in my last video that I've changed up my hair a little bit. I did the sin that I used to do at least once a month many years ago, but I haven't done in a while, and I box dyed my hair, you guys. I was up here, my hairstylist isn't here, and I was just so sick of the red. I dealt with the compulsion for like 2 weeks, and I thought about it every day, and then I was like, I have to do it myself. I know I can do it myself, so that's what I did. And I think it actually looks pretty good. It needs to be redone at this point because my roots have started coming in, but I got it pretty close to my natural color, a little bit lighter, but I got a lot of the red out of it myself. I went to my hairstylist over the summer to get the red out. It didn't really work. I wasn't super happy with it. It cost like $500 after all of the processing, but I just dealt with it. And then I got my hair done on a job again, and she got some of it out, but not fully. And I still, was just feeling tired of the red. I like it on other people. I just had it for so long and I wasn't really feeling like myself anymore. Honestly, I was really missing my black hair, but I decided a cooler tone brown will do me for now. Proud of myself. I'm also considering cutting it. My hair is like almost down to my belly button, so I think it's time for a chop, but I don't know how short I'll go. Maybe more like to here. In the winter, having really long hair is not the most fun. I feel like I just constantly have a knot in the back of my head from wearing scarves or coats. Anyways, I turned the camera on to talk about vision boarding. I used to be such a Tumblr girl back in the day, and I've definitely converted in the last year or so to being very into Pinterest. I didn't get it for years, but I think I just hadn't curated my feed and algorithm to be what I needed it to be. So I've been making my little board. I'm gonna share some of it with you guys and also hopefully encourage you to do some of the same. It's fun to imagine what you would like your life to look like, and it's also a really good exercise because maybe something is going to show up or be a theme that you didn't really realize was a theme or a goal that you were working towards. I had to be really intentional about putting any sort of fashion content on here, which I did want in here, but it's just not what I was gravitating towards. I did add some kitchen inspiration photos to this vision board. Some of our quite random good news that we got in the past few days is that we're getting a pretty large sum of money from Audi USA for issues that we had with our car over the summer. I kind of vlogged that process and mentioned it in videos if you were following along. A car that we got certified pre-owned from Audi, I think in February, basically completely gave out on me while I was driving in July. And then it was in the shop for 3 months. They covered all the damages, but because it was in the shop so long, we did contact Audi USA about the issue because we were obviously still paying for our car. We were considering having them buy it back. We ended up getting our car back and we didn't have to pay for anything, and they gave us like a loaner car in the meantime. And honestly, I think both of us had kind of forgotten about this claim process that we started with Audi USA because we had our car back and it was all good and fine. They've just gotten back to us about our claim like 6 months later after all the paperwork has been done. And we're getting $8,000 from Audi USA, which is a nice surprise. Yesterday, Siggy and I had like a 3-hour-long conversation about how we should spend that money. We own the car, so we talked about putting it towards a car loan. We've also talked about swapping out that car already just because it hasn't been the most reliable for us. As you guys know, we're in the process of renovating this house, so we also talked about putting the money towards the renovation or other financial goals. And I think we've decided we're going to put that $8,000 to our kitchen renovation, which is obviously a huge chunk of free money that will be very helpful for us. So that was a good piece of news that we got after a rough last month. And it's definitely going to help expedite our kitchen renovation process. I wish $8,000 would cover the whole thing, but it'll at least make a dent. So I have some other light renovation inspiration pictures, more just the overall mood of the photos than like exact copies. There's some pretty landscapes and picnic and food photos just for moments that I think are fun to create in life and that I want to prioritize creating more. You notice I have a couple chess boards on here. I've been back into playing chess a bit more. I got really into it in the pandemic, but I would love to get better at chess. Really beautiful flowers. I'd love to get better at making floral arrangements. Also some nice garden photos and camping photos. I have some snowboarding photos on here. I really want to prioritize getting better at that. Such a big motivation for that is seeing all the little kids on the mountain that are so good at what they do. Just wanting to be able to do that as a family in the future. This girl I follow on Instagram has been posting at this resort in Europe that's so stunning, so chic, but it's a resort just for families. I'm obsessed. I'm definitely manifesting that for my future. Oh, I also have a Bronco on here. That's a car that we were considering swapping our Audi for. Right now we have a somewhat newer Audi Q8 and then we have a really old Jeep Cherokee. It's 1998, like almost as old as me, and we love it. They kind of consolidate the two. I really love the new Broncos, but they're actually so expensive. They're just as expensive, if not more, as like a used luxury car. So I don't think we're going to be doing that anytime soon. I think they've just been really sought after. But maybe in a few years when there's some more used car inventory, that's something that we would move to. And then we'd love to have some sort of vintage sports car. I really want to learn more about cars and working on cars, which I think seems like it comes out of like left field for a lot of people when I tell them that, but it's something I've gotten very into. I follow this girl on Instagram who fully built out her vintage Porsche 911. It just looks so fun. I love a project. We do already have a project car in our garage right now that's an old Cadillac that needs the work. We just haven't been prioritizing it because it's winter and we're renovating, but I think that'll be a really good learning process for me. I also have this bit of out there dream. Okay, I know the quality just got so bad for a second. I apologize. It's gonna go back to better soon, but my phone just died and I was on a tangent that I want to continue. I have this sort of out there dream. If you're not into F1 or cars, you can skip over this because you don't care. But basically, if you follow F1, you know that Cadillac is coming to the grid, I think in 2026. I might not have that year right. I have this vision of creating content around fixing up the Cadillac and then being able to work with Cadillac and go to F1 races with them. Definitely out there. I've never seen a car brand that's not Porsche sponsor content around their older models. Porsche does that all the time, but it would be cool if that could be a thing. And also just a fun way for me to learn a bit more about cars. I'm gonna do a little montage of some other photos I have on the vision board, and then finally gonna get to taking down these Christmas decorations.